This is shameful. For the black people who voted for him, you disgust me. You're the 16% that did it, the 16% of black men, you disgust me. And the 8% of black women, you disgust me because you were bamboozled. You were hoodwinked. And then the rest of you, the fact that you are a one-issue voter got us here.
Hey everybody. So as you can see, this video is about interracial marriage and Republicans coming out against it, basically, and saying that they want it to be left up to the states. This woman, I just sat and watched her, go on about this because she's upset because she is a person in an interracial marriage. Apparently, she's married to a white man. She's an older black woman. And I would venture that she's a foundational black American. She sounds a little bit like the Oracle, honestly, from The Matrix. And for the most part, I was with her until she got to this last part that I just played for you. Specifically, the very last part when she referred to people who did not vote for Kamala or Trump, blaming us for the election situation. What I want you all to understand, and I'm going to bring up the stats, is that if you add all of the people, and I've said this before, and I know this video will only go so far, so, whatever. But I'm going to say it one more time. If you add every single person who voted third party together with all of the Kamala voters, you still would see Trump as the elected president of the United States of America in 2024. That is exactly what you would see. Why? Because not enough people voted third party and voted for Kamala in order to combine to outdo Trump. Trump got so many votes, and so many Democrats did not show up at all for anyone. Because, as you know, most Democrats didn't want to vote even third party, because they didn't know those people, because a lot of you all didn't do what you were supposed to do. People who said that they're for justice and equality and things like that. You had all of these years to look at all of the candidates who were available and to show people who supported things that were for the American people. Instead, you put these politicians, these career politicians, corporate figures in the same fucking positions that they've always been in. And you allowed for the corporate powers that be to do that. And you were just willing to take the choices that were given to you, the two choices that were given to you, even though we turned one of them down. Well, technically, we turned both of them down 4 years prior. You know what I'm saying? We turned Kamala and Trump down, and you gave us those exact same fucking people. We turned both of them down. We elected Biden, and we turned down Trump and Kamala. She ran against Biden. So why you all gave her us in the first fucking place don't make no damn sense. Then it's, oh, well, you need to stick with what you got. You all in this stick with what you got and eat the crumbs that you've been given mentality is why we're in this mess. We're in this mess because of racism, first and foremost. White racism and supremacy. Okay? Let's get that straight. There's this running narrative that people who did not vote for, she says one party voters and this, that, or one issue voters. Babe, number one, you trying to chalk up a genocide to one issue as if that pales in comparison to anything is ridiculous. And it's very telling of your humanity. What on earth are you talking about? A whole race of people is being wiped off the face of the earth. Number one, if they're doing that to non-black people, for the most part, because even though there are many black Palestinians, most of them are not black, that I've seen at least. So if they're doing that to people who look like them, silky hair, beautiful people, not black looking, you know what I'm saying? Because, everybody hates black people so much. They're doing this to these people. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck do you think they're going to do to you? especially if you say, let's get on board. As the black community, let's just get on board. Because that's what Kamala said. She also told black people that she was specifically not going to do anything to help black Americans. Yet you're going to tell black Americans that we betrayed her. And she knows the history of this country that her ancestors have nothing to do with. Neither one of them. Neither one of the sides of her family, ancestral sides of her family. So I just wanted to point this out again. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the stats. So if we look here, if I'm not mistaken, this is for the presidential, these are presidential votes, because these are the green papers for the 2024 presidential election votes. So if we look at the Republican votes, which would be, this is for the president, remember, so this would be for Trump. He, in total, it looks like it's 77,302. So 77, almost 77.5 million people voted, and that's about almost 50% of the country voted in favor of Trump. 75 million, just over 75 million, voted for Kamala, which is about 48%, just barely 40, or just over 48%. So people, of course, that's very close. You know, if we look at 48 to 49, 75 to 77, but it's still not that close. This is like over 2 million, over 2.5 million people right here. I mean, just under 2.5 million people, if I'm not mistaken. So if we calculate everyone else who's not a Republican or a Democrat, okay? And this is being generous because, you know, we're going to do something after this because that is going to come up with a pretty big number, you know, comparatively, you know, when we look at what we look at. But we're going to compare it to previous election results and show that it's actually normal for this to be about the same amount. But if we add all of these up, we're looking at 763, 643 plus 752, 499 plus 653, 672 plus 636, 365 plus 456, 012 plus 50243. So that's a little over 3,300,000 votes. Outside of the over 150 that are, what is it, 152 million that are between Republican and Democrat. So obviously, you know, one would think, okay, well, if you add that 3 to, you know, the Democratic number, it would succeed or supersede or exceed the amount that, you know, is in the Republican category. But what we have to understand is that all of these parties have always existed. Well, not always, but these parties have existed for decades at the very least. Like most of them, if not all of them, since the beginning of the country and the inception of the country. So people have always voted more than just Democratic or Republican. You know what I'm saying? So that's a pipe dream, you expecting everybody to just fall into these two categories, you know? But yes, if you look at the Green Party, for instance, that is where a lot of the votes were going of people who, you know, were not approving of, you know, either party and because of the one issue of genocide or what have you. So a lot of them were going to Jill Stein, Butch Ware, Claudia de la Cruz. You know, these are where these people were going. And just so you can understand what I'm saying, if we look at the 2020 election results, same thing. Presidential, same thing. Popular vote. Substantially more votes this time for the Democrat. And just in general, you know, there's a substantial difference. It's a landslide of a victory. We're in two totally different, you know, brackets of, you know, tens of millions. But if we add all of these together, I mean, we got libertarian of almost 2 million votes right there. And that should also kind of show you just how much the Green Party kind of took this year in 2024 or last year because, you know, they weren't as popular back then with, I believe half the amount of votes. So anyway, If you add all of these numbers up, you come up with just over 3 million. I think it's 3.023 million, if I'm not mistaken, or so. So it's just a few hundred thousand less than 2024's results. So it's like, this is a usual thing. It is usual for people to vote in all of these different categories. It is usual for people to not just be a Democrat or Republican. So if you add all of the people who left the Democratic Party up, and I won't say left, but like, did not vote for Democrats this year, but they still voted, even those people would not add up to make a win for Democrats in this 2024 election. So that's what you guys need to understand. Even the Democrats who left the party, because that's what people are really trying to make you believe. They're trying to make you believe that if all Democrats voted right, or adequately or properly, then we wouldn't be in this situation. No, that's not the case. All Democrats could have voted however they wanted to vote, and put all their votes together, and it still wouldn't have mattered because there were too many people on board with this Republican ass nonsense. So I just want you all to stop, drop, and roll because you are on fire, okay? You are so wrong. You're on fire. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. I know it's usually supposed to be you so right, you on fire, but who wants to be on fire? But like, you're so wrong, Ain't nobody got time. You're so incorrect. Like, a lot of these people are just haters because they're mad because, they're mad that these things happen and that the situation is what it is. They're mad that we're in the predicament that we're all mad. Okay, the fuck. But you getting mad at and trying to bop on the heads of people with fucking non-factual information. You know what I'm saying? These people love facts so much when, they support them. But when they don't support them, then they don't have any facts anymore. You know what I'm saying? Where are the facts at? I want to see the Carfax. Like, I want to see somebody come out here and walk me through the election numbers and show me how people who left the Democratic Party caused this to happen. Show me that. Show me how, if all of them would have voted for Democrats, this would be okay. If every person who voted for Democrats the year before, you know what I'm saying, or years prior, ain't nobody got time for this bullshit. Stop throwing hissy fits and talk about some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Talk about something, because guess what? The election passed. So whatever you're trying to do, you need to go ahead and get started. You know what I'm saying? You all have been having a pity party almost this entire year long. The year is almost over. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I just wanted to put that out because, people really sicken me when I see this, especially when I'm agreeing with a lot of what they're saying at first, but then they go completely left with this BS. Do some research before you open your mouth and say some dumb shit like that. Because you're just mad because you have different views than someone else. And you're not going to blame the entire state of this country on people who had nothing to do with that, who still voted against that. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't join your fucking tribalistic ass fucking side. The fuck? Go watch you a fucking game show and get all that shit out of you because this is not the place for that. It's not the place for tribalism. It's the place for realism. I just wanted to add this little bit. This is an article that came out after the election. Post misleadingly blamed third-party votes for Republican victory. So the bolded second title is Donald Trump secured a clear victory in 2024, but some online posts claim Kamala would have won several key states if not for ballots cast for third-party candidates. This is a misrepresentation of the data. Preliminary totals show that even with all of the non-Trump votes in the 7 biggest battlegrounds, the vice president would not have secured an electoral college win. So they're focusing on the electoral college. I was focusing on votes. But even the electoral college didn't support Kamala. So we've got 7 states. And I'll be quite honest with you all, I'm not familiar with electoral college and like how that exactly works. I tried to learn more about it in school last semester, but I don't even think the teacher was able to explain it very well. Because here I am still, unaware. So I don't really know how to read them. I just know if you got more, if you got less. So that's all I know. But they conclude the article with, quote, there were only two states in the nation where the margins between Trump and Harris were close enough such that if all third party voters cast ballots for Harris instead, it would have flipped the state. Michigan, worth 15 electoral votes, and Wisconsin, worth 10. End quote. Sociologist Musa al-Garbi said in an analysis published November 11th. But they say that even if non-Trump voters, all of them, in two states swung to Harris, it would still not change the outcome of the election because she needed 270 electoral college votes to win, and she fell far below 226. So even those two states would not have garnered her, enough. 15 plus 10 is just what, 25? So she would have been at like maybe 250 at the most, 251. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. They also ended with exit polls show Trump also got a boost from Latino voters, while Biden had largely beaten him with that part of the electorate 4 years ago. So it looks like this same article is actually blaming scapegoating Latinos. Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm sorry. Well, damn. So there you have it, you guys. So everyone who's trying to, get upset and I really do want to say something about this, like real quick. I'm gonna end it with this. If you really believe that a genocide of an entire race of people being sponsored by us directly and our money that is supporting a whole nother society, a white society mainly, mind you, that has free healthcare, free housing, shelter, schooling, education, all kinds of shit. They got it going good over there. If you think that us providing all of that for them is acceptable when we are in the conditions that we're in our own country, you've got bigger fish to fry than the ones that you're focusing on. So, I mean, I'm going to need you to get your priorities straight because you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. And I guarantee you a lot of these people call themselves Christian. How dare you call yourself Christian and you are okay with a genocide? And don't claim that you're not, because Kamala said that she was not going to do anything but continue to support Is Not Real fully and wholeheartedly. So, it is what it is.